You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Here is some other transfer portal news to catch you up on going on with Syracuse, okay? First and foremost, sorry guys, we're going back to talking about quarterbacks. It's a big priority. We have to talk about it here because I don't know who the 2025 starter is going to be, okay? Kaidon Salter, perhaps the most talked about of the bunch. He visited Syracuse yesterday. He was in attendance of the Syracuse-Georgetown game with Fran Brown. And look, I know the Orange need a quarterback, but I have to ask this sincerely. I mean, can Kaidon Salter hoop? Can he hoop? Because honestly, we might need some basketball players. Can he coach basketball? That's what I want to know too. Can he coach? Can he play? We might need that more than we need a quarterback, but that's neither here nor there. And in all seriousness, of all the quarterbacks that Syracuse has been linked to, keyword is linked, okay? He's not my number one priority when you look at the landscape of the portal. But of the guys that Syracuse is linked to, which is now 3 since Connor Wigman came off the board to Houston, Kaidon Salter is my number one target. You got Salter, you got Ricky Collins from LSU. I don't love that idea. And Anthony Calandria from Virginia. The only real positive with Anthony Calandria is that he's got experience in the ACC starting. But just because he has experience doesn't mean it's good experience. Kaidon Salter, in my opinion, of those 3 options, he clearly has the highest floor and the highest ceiling of all of them. It's not even close. And I saw someone comment that I'm a clown and that I have no idea. Yeah, actually, this person said that I should be banned because he's coming from the group of 5. And why would I push the narrative that Syracuse should go after a group of 5 quarterback? First of all, look, I get the concern that Kaidon Salter is coming from the group of 5 because it's certainly different than the Power 4. We have seen quarterbacks struggle to take that next step. Go look at Grayson McCall trying to make that step for NC State last season before he got hurt. He wasn't very good. There is a big difference between Power 4 competition and playing at Liberty. Big difference. But that doesn't mean that guys from the group of 5 cannot succeed at the next level. It does not mean that quarterbacks cannot succeed at the Power 4 level. Whatever you do, if you believe that narrative, go look up where Indiana's Curtis Rourke went to college the previous 5 years. Go look at it. I'll tell you the answer. It's the Ohio Bobcats. He was the 2022 MAC Player of the Year. I don't know really what he did in 2023, but in 2024, he transferred to Indiana. Indiana's 11-1, and guess what? They're in the college football playoff. And correct me if I'm wrong, he finished top 10 in Heisman voting. Is Kaidon Salter next year with Syracuse going to finish top 10 in Heisman voting? The odds are stacked against him. It's very difficult to finish top 10 in Heisman voting. You got to be one of the 10 best players in college football in order for that to happen. But the argument that, hey, he's coming from group of 5, he can't be good, is just wrong. It's incorrect. We literally saw it this season. That's Curtis Rourke at Indiana. So overall, Kaidon Salter, he's my number one target. He visited Syracuse yesterday. What else do we got? We got Malachi Hosley from Penn. Not Penn State, from Penn, the Ivy League. So this guy's a smart kid coming from the Ivy League. He's got a visit, I believe, lined up with Syracuse. I think that's from 24/7 Sports reporting that. He's a running back. And obviously with the Quint Allen status kind of up in the air, the staff does kind of have to dot their I's, cross their T's at the position. Allen does have another year left of eligibility, but really the question with him comes down to, is he going to go to the NFL or not? It's kind of similar to a Rondé Gadsden at tight end, but I think Gadsden's pretty much a lock to go to the NFL. Allen less so. I don't have odds on this, but I can see either way, him staying or him going pro. So that's why you got to look at potentially another running back. What else? We'll go back to defense here. Julian Humphrey, the Georgia corner. It's kind of funny because with Fran Brown's background, every single player from Georgia that enters the portal, we immediately say, ooh, that could be a fit at Syracuse, right? And for good reason. I mean, Fran Brown, like I said, the Georgia background is real. He was the defensive backs coach there. He was the number one recruiter in the nation at Georgia. So he knows a lot of these guys on that roster. Here's the issue with Julian Humphrey. He's a cornerback, and he was a stud at Georgia, but I don't know what exactly happened. I think he got benched. Maybe he just wasn't playing well in the end. And he's not with the team anymore, even though they're in the college football playoff. He's in the portal, and he's got a ton of offers, but Syracuse is not one of the teams that has offered Julian Humphrey, which is surprising. He's a defensive back. I think the Orange can certainly use a corner. Seems like it would be a good fit. Why haven't they offered him? And I have two theories on this, and I don't have sourcing on it, but I have two theories. You can believe one, you can believe the other, you can believe neither, you can believe both. Number one theory, the NIL for him is ridiculous. Like I said, he was a starter at Georgia. And he's got a ton of offers from a ton of big-time schools. He's going to get a lot of money. Maybe he's too much. Maybe Syracuse is like, let's just pivot. Let's go in a different direction because it's not worth spending all that money on a corner, especially when the team needs a quarterback. So there's no point in trying. That's my number one theory. My other theory is this, and this one might be more plausible, honestly. Fran Brown knows something. He couldn't easily know something about a kid like Julian Humphrey because he was the DB coach at Georgia. He obviously knows him. Maybe the connection isn't super strong. Maybe Fran Brown, he knows him. So maybe he just doesn't want him. Just because he knows him doesn't mean he's going to want him. Those are my two theories. Maybe the NIL is ridiculous or Fran Brown knows something. Once again, they haven't offered Julian Humphrey, and I guess that means he will not be an option in the portal for Syracuse. So the three big topics that I have, Kaidon Salter visiting. I think he's the number one priority of the guys that Syracuse is linked to in the portal at quarterback. Penn running back Malachi Hosley is scheduling a visit sometime. I don't know exactly when, but 24/7 Sports reported that. And Julian Humphrey's in the portal, but Syracuse is not offered. If there's anything else that I am missing, feel free to comment in the comment section below, and I'd be happy to answer your question. One other thing, it literally came across right as I was about to hit the record button. An Alabama offensive tackle, I think he was a backup. Either he's getting a visit from Syracuse or he's been offered. I'm not sure, but 24/7 Sports reported that. So I'll keep an eye on that as well.